Okay, here's a kind of a helpful video for those coming down to catch a marlin and a sailfish and tarpon and all that, or rather on your days off from catching tarpon and marlin and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to just show some fishing spots around the Geiger Key area. I remember the first time that I took a big boat out solo and I crossed out of the channel way outside the islands and got out to the open water, and I had planned my attack and got all my equipment ready, and then as soon as I cleared that and got out into the open water, looking out and just seeing a whole bunch of water and not having a clue of what I was doing, and that realization that you don't have knowledge, it's a difficult place to figure out. So anyways, this video will kind of help those people out that just get down here. A lot of snowbirds coming down, and this will have a good place to launch, and then I'll show you a few spots that you can go that are generally hold fish. And one of the few first spots is right here along the launch, along these mangroves, a deep channel all along the boat dock there. Anytime you find boat docks, cleaning stations, they always have fish hanging around. But you can catch tarpon and tons of mangroves and stuff here. Good place to put out a chum block and sit back and fish. But otherwise, let's go hit a couple spots, and I'll be putting them on a map so you can Google satellite them and create a plan of attack for yourself. No marlins and sailfish and tuna on this trip, but it's a good place to bend a rod, and that's the key thing that we're trying to do today. Okay, this first spot is just west of the marina. You can see the restaurant and the launch is just right there. And this is kind of a hidden out spot, not really accessible by the boats, and there's really no reason to come back this way, so it doesn't get hit ever, I don't really think, very often. Maybe some of the kayakers know about it, but you can see the birds are here. That means the bait's here. So it's a location I go to catch bait. But there's also nice snappers that hang around. Well, anywhere the bait is, the snappers are going to be. They'll hide underneath these mangroves. This is actually forms a separate little island, so it's kind of segregated off, so you get a little bit of current through here, but you'll be surprised at the kind of fish that you'll find in here. Right now, this entire thing is just covered with pilchards. Definitely a great place to come to, if you're a beginner, to come catch some easy bait. If you want to try your, especially like a nice little 5-foot net would work perfect, because there's just way too much bait here to throw a big net. And you want to be very careful of which kinds that you throw into, because there's looks like smalls and mediums, and there's pockets of large ones. But if you throw into these small ones and you've got a 3/8 inch net, you're going to get stuck. It's like there's bigger ones mixed in with these small ones, but you're going to Christmas tree your net. So be selective where you throw it, even though this whole thing is covered. Spot again is real close to the launch, which is right there. This is my bread and butter spot where I learned all my stuff from, is this stretch basically along these mangroves. This is the boating channel that's cut through there, and then along those mangroves are all pretty deep. You do have to be cautious because boats run through here, and they can run full out because it's still open ocean part here. They'll slow down once they're over there by the marina, but here it's a lot of them have to, or I think they have to stay on plane in order to get out of here, but so they'll move fast. But all along these mangroves, all the way to the tip there, I learned how my flipping techniques and gulp techniques and my earlier how-to fishing tips are all based on this area here. So a real good spot to just work your way down. I generally start from this single bush here, it just stands out, straight across, and then that way. Over than this way, it's never been that good. You'll catch occasional things, but majority of the bigger stuff I caught is draw a line from there across, and then that stretch going that way. And usually what I like to do is, like today is perfect because the wind is drifting me, pushing me along easily. I'd just tuck in right to the edge there and just flip and just put in every little hole, just like you would bass fishing. every little pocket, every little section sticking out, drop your bait in there, give it a few twitches, nothing, reel it in, and then the wind will blow you to the next spot and you just keep pitching it. So that's spot number 2. Here I show in a lot of my videos because it is my bait spot. Blue crabs, mullet, pilchards, but I have actually never caught a fish in this whole area. So, and I've never seen them. I've never seen bonefish. I've never seen permit over here. I don't know why. It's got nice sand. It's a sheltered cove, but I just never see, I mean, you'll see the little sharks and stuff cruising around, but other than that, I've never really seen too much. I do see permit out in the grass flats here a lot, but that's something else. So, great spot for bait, but fishing, I don't think, not so much. Alright, this is Shark's Channel. Runs all the way through, runs all the way to the Gulf side. Narrows down to a very deep and cut channel. You can see it drops off right there. So this is one of my favorite spots to do big game fishing. A lot of stuff comes through here. Yeah, a lot of my videos are based off of this area here, so definitely worthwhile. Yes, the name is Shark Channel, and yes, there are sharks in there. If you're on the edge, just watch when you bring a fish up. If you catch one and you're bringing it up, stuff will follow it. Other than that, it's not that big a deal. People swim in here and free dive and that all the time. It's just during tarpon season, and if you're fighting a fish, I'd keep the legs and hands out of the water. What did we catch in Shark Channel? Is it my friend the Jack? Not a good place to be messing around. Nice jack. Ouch. There we go. So what do you catch in Shark Channel? Jacks. Nice jacks. Here's one of a nice secret hidden spots, hidden right out in the open. On the far left-hand side of Shark Channel, there's this little cutway that goes around the back. A lot of people don't see it because it's hard to make out from the channel. But if you come back here, there's a deep cut that follows through here and actually goes there and back around. And all along these mangroves are deep cuts. That way there is a little passageway that you can cut through, and that's a spot I'll show next. But in here, it's a real deep channel. I find a lot of pilchards and mullet hide back in here, but all these are deep undercuts. This is actually a separate island, so it goes almost, the water goes almost all the way underneath it from front to back. But this is my cool hideaway spot. If you look at my first video I ever made, it was done right here. And that's a secret spot as well, is that channel goes, I don't know if you can see it, but that channel goes right through all the way to the other side. It just goes through around, so the current just goes right through there. And all that stuff inside there is a nice big deep channel. All these get a lot of current. Along that edge gets a lot of current. And this is always protected by the wind in one way or another. But we're going to go around to the back spot, which is a carry on from this, and you can check that out. Okay, this is to the back side of it. So it's running on a real shallow flats out here. But this is the back side to that little channel that I was talking about that cuts through. So water current comes through here. It's all really deep right here. And deep all the way through this channel. It's a wide, deep column that runs through here. It's almost like a shipping channel, except there's nothing around it. But all these things are surrounded by roots, deep roots. And I always get a lot of bait when it's very windy coming from the west this way. All the bait likes to hide in these little eddies back in here where it's a little bit out of the wind. Not so good when it's coming from the east because this gets pounded, but you can see all this stuff is real deep. It's a real beautiful area I like here, so whenever I get a chance to come and do some fun fishing, I always like to hit these areas over here. But you can see how fishy this looks over here. All these undercuts and mangroves hanging out. A lot of deep spots. So a lot of fish hang way underneath there, and then they'll ambush all these bait fish and stuff that are coming through here. But very fishy spot, and it ends right up here. I'll show you. And this is where it ends. Kinda. There's a channel that runs all the way through around that backside. I've actually never gone too far back in there because it starts getting a lot really overhang. But if you had just a regular paddle kayak, you can just go through and it cuts to the other side. But that is this hidden section back of Shark Channel, and it gets real skinny water back in here, so this is usually the farthest I go back for the fishing. Catch a lot of crabs back here for tarpon season. But that's the back side. Spot, I'm going to actually do it in reverse order. It's basically 3 parts. So this is the output or the input depending on the current. But there's a channel that snakes through the back and then comes out the side here. So this is the one entry exit point there. This is the middle section here. And you can see how flat it is. That's why nothing really comes back in here except maybe the kayak paddle boards, if they even see it. But you can see that deep channel still comes through here, and that's the back way that I just showed you. Is there's a little curve there and then it comes out. But it's all deep, fairly deep water along this edge here. So this is the middle body, and then I'll show you the entry point along Shark Channel. Entrance way right off of Shark Channel here, so it's inconspicuous so people don't really notice it, but if you come back in here a little bit, you can see the deep channel comes along the edge. And runs right back in there and cuts across to that middle grounds. That goes to that middle grounds area through here, so all these deep undercut sides on both sides here. It's kind of hidden out of the way, so not a lot of people get back in here. and there's just tons of fish stacked up in here. I mean, if I'm desperately wanting to smack them, I could put a I think I've done a few videos about it where I'll chum at the entranceway here as the current's running like this, and it just gets them fired up. You just got to weed your way through a lot of the smaller ones, but there's bigger ones in here. The next areas are all these right along that edge there for that secret hiding spot, but there's a deep channel that falls right along here, and this is parallel with the shark's channel, so you get always the same heavy current, but you can see how shallow it is over here, and then you have those deep cuts that it falls right along the mangroves, and that water goes way back in there, so you can hear the snook and tarpon running up on stuff back inside these holes here. And then it gets a little bit shallower, but then up front here you'll see these pockets that go back inside there even pretty far, and that's where they hang out, just barely below the water level and just ambushing fish. This next spot is kind of on this corner. It actually wraps around that edge and follows this channel. Just another one where there's a deep cut that follows it around. It's in this little inlet bay here, right off the shark channel. But just this corner right here, wrapping around, is the real deep. And I get a lot of snappers hang along that edge there. And it goes a little bit farther down to that side of this little island. And then it gets up to a little bit narrower, but it's a good pocket here. It gets a lot of water flow, so wherever you can find that, you're going to find the bigger fish hanging out. Area is this island that kind of splits up shark channel to go out the one way or back to like Garrison Bight there. But I like the front side and the back side of this island for finding fish. Now this is the front side. There's the US 1. You could go fish the bridge as well, Shark Channel Bridge, but if you're gonna do that, it's easier to launch from the public ramp right over there. But all this has deep cuts along the front here. So all this is all undercut because it gets that full amount of pressure every single day the tide runs. And there's a little channel that runs through there. And it gets a little bit thinner up here, but still anywhere there's water flow right along the mangroves will be good. Okay, last spot is the Geiger Key Bridge. This is the one I always I fish off the bridge a lot, but you can also do it by kayak. It's very shallow until you get closer to the bridge and then along the mangroves there. Again, anywhere there's current, there will be fish. Okay, that was my little tour of Geiger Key fishing spots. Just remember there's no fences, so fish can be anywhere. Just got to put in your time, and those are just some good spots that are definitely going to hold some fish. It's just the habitat is very good to find them. But anyways, At least this gives you a spot, so once you launch out of here, go that way to that first spot, straight out gets you to the channel out of here, and then shark channel to the left. Just keep heading that way. So hope that helps, and hope you catch a fish. Thanks.